Alrighty, let's hop on to Twitter X and see what the latest buzz is all about. Okay, let's see. Yep, same stuff. Ooh, cool artwork. Nice. Actually, wait, I'll favorite that. I'm breaking up with my best friend of 20 years. We had a great old time, but we can't do this now. But I'm also confused. Dude, just cut your losses. Just cut your losses and move on. And he even did a 30-tweet thread about it. Oh God, these people. You know, sometimes I really wonder if anybody even knows really what to do when they have to cut somebody off. Hey, hello, friend. It's Dr. Detroit here. The doctor is in. You know, cutting your losses is something that we all got to do in life at some point. Whether it be financial losses, or maybe losses in a business that we had, or in most cases, cutting a loss of a friend. And I don't mean like, because they died or something like that. I mean because, well, that friend went bad. Or in some cases, just decided that they didn't want to be the same person that you know for many years. Well, cutting your losses can really leave you emotional. That's why in this Vrchat 101, this very special Vrchat 101, I'm going to show you what it's like to cut losses here in Vrchat, but also give you folks a little bit of help as to how to handle with cutting your losses. Because believe me, I know that it can be very saddening. It can be saddening, could be aggravating, and it could even leave you in kind of a puddle of pity. But you know what? Sometimes cutting your losses can be good to your mental health. Now, I know that we have done quite a few episodes about mental health and everything like that. I mean, we literally just got done filming, Do This, Not That mental health edition. I get it. But, be that as it may, with everything that's going on in Vrchat these days, I kind of want to give you the tools that you can use in a little segment I like to call How to Cut Your Losses and Minimize the Damage. And guess what, everybody? On this laptop right here, I can actually roll the intro. So, like I always say, roll the intro. Cutting your losses. That's something that we all got to do at some point in time. And for today, we're only going to focus on cutting losses, in other words, losing a friend. Now, losing a friend can be very saddening. Because you know what? Here's the thing. We have so many different friends, okay? We got so many different friends who, here on Vrchat. The thing is, though, is that some of them become our true blue friends, and then some kind of become the wishy-washy people, as I mentioned in the How to Handle Being Cancelled video. However, there's been a growing number of people that I have noticed who, unfortunately, the friendships have come to an end this year. At the time of recording this, I literally had to cut my losses with somebody. Now, their name is going to not be mentioned, but if they're watching this right now, they know who they are. Now, when you cut your loss, it's gonna hurt at first, okay? Because here's the thing. Many of you guys come on here almost every single day, even on certain holidays, to come and be with your friends. I come on here to be with my friends and film. And then after that, I'm off to the races. But believe me, I totally get it. I totally get it. Cutting your friendship and doing all that can sting internally. But at the same time, you can recover from this. So, let me illustrate a little bit about an example of cutting your loss. So, you know what's funny though? We're here inside my office. This is actually where you've seen a lot of my videos, begin sometimes. The red board is actually on the other side of this wall. I could teleport right through it, but you know what? Last time I had to do that, Mr. Foxy had to call 911, and it was not a pretty sight. So, let's go over to my red board to talk a bit about cutting your losses. Right about now. There we are, the famous red board. And hello, Mr. Foxy. Good to see you today. Everybody loved your intro from the last one. Maybe we'll do some more with you. Alright, so now let's get right into talking about a little scenario here. So let's go ahead and do some illustrations. Alright, so let's do this. Let's pretend, for example, that the entire red board is an instance, alright? So let's say this is you right here. So I'll move my thingy out of the way. So here you are the happy one. So this is you're the happy one. And then let's say you have a few of your friends. Let's say this one over here is sad, because he's the one that, wants to see you and just, try to feel better. Let's put the one guy over here who I'd say he is AFK for right now, so we'll just do this. He just kind of AFK. There we go. You know what's funny though is that somebody in one of my messages on Twitter, if you don't follow me, I go by @itsDocDetroit on Twitter X that is. Somebody actually told me that AFK could also mean something totally different, because it means away from keyboard, but somebody said to me, it actually stands for away for Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's that's funny. And then we'll go ahead and put one dude right here between these two right here, and let's just say that he's kind of like derping. All right, so this is the one friend who is basically just derping. Okay? So, here's the thing. In comes a friend up here. Now, here's the thing. All your friends have slightly different needs, slightly different feelings, and everything like that. They have a different personality. Not everybody has the same personality as you or one of your true blue friends. However, what happens if this person is always angry all the time? Like, I mean, like, totally angry. Like, anything you do. Like, he'll make it seem like that it's all your faults. And I'm not talking like, somebody like a Nikocado Avocado was. I'm calling corporate. No, not like that. But let's just say that this dude here, he is just one pissed off son of a nutcracker. So there he is. So he's just furious. Here you are with your own instance and things like that, and then here's your friends. Suddenly this guy spawns in, and the first thing that he does is that he looks at the whole situation here. What he might think is going on is that he might think that you are doing something fun, like, a party or, a game, when literally all you guys are doing is just simply kind of vibing in a home world, or maybe vibing to, I don't know, some music on the video player. Now, this friend here first goes over to you. They'll go over here to the happy one, and they will start accusing you by basically going, "Why wasn't I invited?" Or even say something to the point of like, "Gee, I really wish I had been invited, because you know what, this looks like it's a party. Why didn't you invite me to the party?" First things first, mister. There was no party whatsoever. We're also not doing anything because we're not in a game world. And not only that too, but you just logged on a few seconds ago. Alright? And guess what? We've been on for 2 hours now. 2 hours. Okay? So he comes over to you and he starts harassing you. And your smile now suddenly goes to being upside down, because now you're not too happy. By the way, too, I'm noticing in the viewfinder that a lot of these things are turning into sad Pac-Man. So fine, you guys are all Pac-Man. Next, he's gonna go after the next person that he can look for. He's either gonna go for the sad person, or he's gonna go down here to the derp. So we're gonna have him go right down to the one that's just simply derping. And what I mean by derping is like that one that's kind of like in that silly avatar that they found on Prismic, or somebody actually gave them one and they're just kind of having a ball, just like spamming the emotes. But the good news is that they're not really it doesn't really bother you, so you're just kind of like letting them derp in peace. I mean, that's the thing. You know what? I think we need to popularize the phrase "derp in peace." So he goes over to the one who's derping, and he's like, "Well, what are you doing hanging out with these losers?" He starts making up bullshit. Okay, he starts making up bullshit that, is stuff that never happened. So now the one that's derping, let's go ahead and move here. The one that's derping is now going to be like, ticked off that now his derping has been screwed up because of Mr. Grumpy Pants coming over. Now he actually turns to the sad friend. He goes to the sad friend and is basically thinking, "Oh, I could fix this." Well, he goes down to there, but what he ends up doing is that he ends up going wickedly bad, and instead makes that sad friend even sadder. Just like he's now crying up a storm. And then he comes over here to the AFK friend, or the one that's away at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and starts to violate his space, or starts to violate him. Like he'll actually take pens like this, and he will just literally start, sticking them in there. Now, this person that's AFK is not going to, see it because, they're away from the keyboard or away getting Kentucky Fried Chicken. So now here comes the big thing. You now end up confronting Mr. Grumpy Pants up here, and you are literally ticked off. So you and him go into a big battle, and well, it basically results in a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of time spent just screaming at a brick wall, because sometimes some people don't want to change. And so now you got to make the tough decision. Do you still stick with them, or do you send them packing? And well, this is a decision that you have to make on your own. Because here's the thing. Let me go ahead and get my red pen here. Go ahead and grab this really quick. Now, if your friend or your ex-friend now has done all this and has violated everybody's personal space or phantom sense or anything like that, here's what ends up happening. The derpy friend, well, you could basically You can X him out because now he's just blocked that guy because he's had it. He's had it with him. The one who's crying, he's blocked already. He blocked him already. So now you just have two people left. You have the one that's AFK, who finally comes back, and after hearing all the commotion and things like that, he's blocked him too. Now for you, the happy one, you're gonna be like this. But wait a second. You think there's still some good in them, alright? You believe that there's way more to it than meets the eye. Stupid door. I'll leave it in for posterity. Anyway, this is where you gotta make the big decision of cutting your losses, because here's the thing though. When you cut your losses, it basically means that there's nothing more you can do with this person. There's like, you've exhausted all avenues, including trying to help them. So now, you have to decide for yourself on what's better for you, what's better for your friend group, but also what's better for your mind. Because believe me, figuring out whether to block or whether to unfriend somebody who goes bad or doesn't listen to help can be a big pain. And, well, sometimes it's super easy, other times it's not. I know somebody who I actually work with who was having a hard time blocking somebody because they felt like that there was still good in them. Now, it's okay to, think that there's still good in somebody. However, if it's really causing you pain, and if it's really causing you to cry every time you come to Vrchat or cry to your friends or whatever, just block them and move on. Now, yes, I know it would be hard. I know it'd be very hard, but let me tell you something. I'm running out of room right here. If you end up blocking the bully and get him out of your life, let me bring a yellow pen here so we can actually illustrate this. Let's go ahead and do it right here. So if you do that and you block, all your friends are going to be a lot happier because now they can actually derp in peace. They can, feel better about themselves, and then pretty soon, you guys are having a grand old time. But here's the thing though. If you have 4 friends, in your little friend group, 3 out of the 4 friends are going to be very happy that, that they don't have to deal with that guy anymore. But you, unfortunately, are probably going to end up being sad. And I get it. Because, it's hard to get rid of a friend who, you've been friends with for quite a long time, And, here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily happen, always on Vrchat. It can happen on Discord, it can happen in a video game, it can even happen in sim racing too. So now, let me go ahead and erase all this, and I'm going to put down some of the different stages that you're going to go through after you've cut the losses. So, as I always like to do this, through the magic of editing, I now move to the other side of the room and decided to write here on this backup whiteboard, because you know what? I felt like it was time for a little change, if you will. Sort of like a little change from, seeing the red board all the time to this whiteboard that the last time you guys saw this was actually back, I want to say back when we were doing the How to Read the Room and the Pens episode. And as you can also see here too, my good little buddy, Mr. Foxy right here, is holding on to my yellow pen, and he also has one of his green balls here. The funny thing is that these erasers that are actually downstairs act as balls, and he loves to play fetch with them. But don't try to grab that green ball away from him, otherwise he's gonna get on you really bad. I know what's going on in my throat just now, but fine, leave it in. So as you can see here, I have written down the 4 stages that you are going to be experiencing after you have blocked a friend and cut your losses. Because the thing is this, not everybody is going to have the same, reaction that you might have. To some people, it's happiness that they're going to feel because they finally blocked the asshole. But also, there's some people who are going to feel sad, some people are going to feel concerned, and sometimes they even think that they could have done more. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay. It's okay to feel a lot of these emotions. So let's have a look-see. So the first thing you're actually going to feel is anger. Anger is one of the main emotions that you're going to be facing. The anger of, realizing that, you have to dump your friend because they have gone completely insane, or that you just have had enough. The once great friend that you played with on something like, Minecraft or TF2 for that matter, even Gary's Mod, or even just sat down and watched videos in, a VC, has suddenly gone rogue, has suddenly gone to the dark side, and has been taking their anger out on you so many times, because everybody can only take so much of, screaming and angry stuff and negativity before it's time to block them. And the anger that you might feel like that you want to punch something. Maybe you want to punch a pillow, or punch a baseball glove or something like that. Or maybe you get so mad that you just want to take it out on something, even just like a pillow, or just punch something really hard because you are angry. You are absolutely destroyed that you even had to do that. And it's okay to be angry. It's okay. Let it out. Just be careful, because you know what? Sometimes letting the anger out will make people see a weird side of you that they have never seen, and it might scare them a little bit. So watch out. The next thing you're going to feel, and I'm going to really screw up my stuff here. The next thing you're going to feel is sadness. Yes, everybody, sadness. The sadness you feel is when the anger wears off. Because here's the thing. If I remember correctly, there was this one Jedi that said this. That fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. I believe his name was Master Yoda. Or did that come from Silva Ochanamitsu? Uh-oh. Spoilers. Spoilers. Anyway. Being sad often happens after the anger has worn off, because anger takes over you. But then you suddenly realize how angry you got. Then you realize that, you blocked your friend. You blocked your friend, your former friend anyway. But you realize that that was somebody who you hung out with for many years. And I do have to say this. It's okay to be sad, okay? It's okay to cry. In fact, a lot of people sometimes have to release a little bit of emotion after they've done something like this. And don't worry, your friends will be there to calm you down, okay? So, if you ever feel sad because you had to block somebody, it's okay. Let it out. Same thing with the anger. Only difference here, especially when it comes to sadness, is that it kind of depends on how you actually are processing it. Because believe me, Jesus, that jet boat out there is going by really fast. Oh, it's the pizza guy. Hey, Mr. Foxy, after this is done, remind me to phone in some pizza, because I'm getting a little hungry after this. Anyway, the sadness that you're going to feel is the fact that you had to do something that you never thought you were going to do. Because you know what? When you were a lot younger, maybe in your teens or Maybe like, heck, maybe this person was, a childhood friend. And maybe you guys did a pinky pledge, or some sort of like secret handshake, or some sort of like secret code that would say that you two would be friends forever. But again, it kind of depends on like how that other person was brought up, because some people who have been best friends for life, sometimes that friendship goes away. So let it out. Let out a few tears. Cry a little bit. And let it cleanse you. Because the next thing that you're going to have, and this is one that is a very crucial stage, regret. You may not regret it at first, but here's the thing. Once the sadness kicks in, you might regret blocking that person. Because you know what? Here's the thing. When we get into a fit of rage, we do things that we never thought we would do. But if you regret blocking that person, what exactly is it that, is making you regret it? Do you really think that it was okay saving him? Do you think that, well, do you think that you could have done more with him, even though you ran out of topics and tricks to kind of work on this guy, or this gal, or this thing? Because see, that's the thing. Some people will actually regret it, and will go and unblock that person. And in some cases, it actually works. Some cases it actually works, where you unblock that person, and they start to become much better. And sometimes the old one comes out. The old one before they went insane. But sometimes when you go to unblock them, and well, they haven't seen you in a long time, chances are they're going to remember what you were about, or they'll just think of you as somebody who is just really stupid, and they'll keep you blocked, or they'll just reblock you and just trigger bad memories. That's kind of where you end up going back back into the sadness category. And well, don't regret your decisions, because believe me, you are the only one that is in charge of your mental health. Not your best friends, not your second cousin, not your grandma's uncle twice removed or something like that. It's only you, and only you can prevent forest fires. No, excuse me. Sorry. Only you can decide for yourself if you ever want to refriend that person or not. Now, whether he or she refriends you or decides to block you, well, you sometimes get a little closure that is kind of sad. And that's also where the final part comes in, where it's time to move on. I know it sounds really sad, and I know it sounds really, really hard, but the thing is that, well, if that person decides to either restart the friendship or just basically say, F you, bro, then it's time for you to start, moving on. In fact, you know what? Future me, insert the song Time to Move On right here really quickly, because I want the viewers to hear the first lyrics of it.
It's time to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead I have no way of knowing. But under my feet, baby, grass is growing. It's time to move on. Time to get going.
See? Basically, what lies ahead, we have no way of knowing. But you know what? Sometimes the grass is greener, especially when you know that you either rekindled the friendship or you lost it. Because you know what, my friend? There's bigger fish out there. There's better friends. There's better things awaiting for you. Because you know what? Here's the thing. Some friends are replaceable. Others will stay with you for the rest of your life. And well, it's hard to tell, what the future holds, It's hard to tell what the future holds when it comes to VR chat and when it comes to, you know, everything that, it's going on. But I'll tell you, those true blue friends will most likely stick with you. And as long as you're good to them and take good care of them, they'll take good care of you too. Oof. This episode really made me misty eyed. Because I've had to cut some friends of my own too. Some other ones who have just not been, very, very good or anything like that. I know, buddy. I'm never gonna leave you because you're my buddy. You're my pet. But just remember, folks, when you go to cut your losses, sure, you're gonna feel some anger, sadness, and regret. But you know what? Sometimes cutting off that person who, just can't get out of their way to be helped might be your ticket to a better life and probably a better mental state and probably some better times here on VR Chat. Which that's going to do it for this episode of VR Chat 101. Hopefully this episode kind of helped you guys out a little bit. I know we really didn't do any funny skits or anything like that, but this was one video I always wanted to do. I always wanted to do this one, and maybe the next time we do VR Chat 101, we might do something more fun. I am not sure. But anyway, if you guys want to see more of these, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to comment down below. And I also checked everybody, and about 79% of you viewers are not subscribed to my channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button too. Oh, and also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it is at it's Doc Detroit. I'll see you folks next time in the next VR Chat 101. Until then, everybody, take care.